Imagine you live your life the way that your mother wants you to. You play it safe, you never take any risks, so you never start that business. You never go all in on your career. You never jump over that puddle. What kind of life would you be left with? You'll have no great stories of adventure and challenge to tell your future son. The Jeffreys of the world, the weak people, will tell you that this is the right way. Don't take risks. But Adonis, on the other hand, encourages you to take risks, especially when you are young, because the reward of those risks compound exponentially. Why you should take risks when you're young. Take big risks when you're young. I was raised as a pussy. My mum wanted to keep me safe in all situations, and I don't blame her for it. She had very, very good reasons to try and not so much be overbearing, but, you know, to keep me safe, because my family went through like a fair amount of like traumatic racist incidents. So when I lived in Liverpool in the UK, I would have been in primary school like age 7 or 8. This is when like some bad, like scary shit was happening. I still have like kind of scary, sad memories of one day like my sister came home and she's crying and there's like chaos in the house, and my dad and my mum are getting like angry, and they're asking her who was it, and she's like not really saying who it was, and you know what's going on. And like some guy had attacked her in her high school in like some racist thing, and my dad and my mom, they go to her high school to, you know, to speak to the staff there, like the teachers there, and nothing really gets done. And then that same guy plus a bunch of his friends start like fully like harassing us and like attacking the house. Like it was very, very frequent that we'd just hear like this, watch. We'd hear this. We'd hear that, they'd be outside like banging on the windows and stuff, and obviously we'd call the police. A lot of the times they'd throw eggs. I remember there was one particular time where like they would throw eggs very frequently at the window and just scream like a lot of racist shit. It was always at 6 p.m. when like, you know, The Simpsons would be on. We used to watch The Simpsons, and you just hear like the thud and the crack of eggs. And you know, my parents are getting worried and everything, like who knows if they've got weapons and everything. And there was this one particular time that, you know, we opened the door and they've already gone and we're calling the police and everything. I'm kind of like leant against the front door of our house, and then I've got it all over my back. Like we didn't even realize that they threw it over the front door as well, instead of just like the main window. And I just remember this one particular time because I literally had fucking like eggs all over the back of my shirt because I kind of rested on the front door. So that was going on at the same time that a lot of like brutal racist incidents was happening in the area that we lived in. I've mentioned before that if you can Google this name, Anthony Walker lived nearby. So it was quite like natural then for my mother especially to really, you know, look after me and really make sure that I wasn't doing anything dangerous. I wasn't really allowed to do much like at all. Like I was allowed to play, I would have been 10, 11 years old. I was allowed to play like in my street, like in front of the house. And we weren't even allowed to go like 2 streets away, 3 streets, we weren't allowed to do that. And you know, I really like, it was always in my mind that I've always got to ask for permission. And I've really grown up with this sense of like an absolute need for guidance and for permission to do anything. We literally, bro, we moved out of Liverpool. I wasn't allowed to tell anyone where we were moving to because we literally thought, you know, that the hate crime would follow us. We were on the news with this and everything, but like we thought the hate crime would follow us. So my parents didn't tell me like where we were moving to, and they said, you know, they didn't want anyone to know. They didn't want me to like tell my friends, and then somehow the same like group of guys, like the gang, would find us. And even when we moved to a new area, my mom was always just like scared of me like going outside. I was never allowed out when it was dark. I would have been 15 years old and still not. So by the time that everyone was like going to parties and, you know, maturing a little bit, I missed that entire experience because I wasn't allowed to like go out at nighttime. It was only when I was about 18, 19 that when my mom was on holiday in Pakistan that my dad was letting me sort of like be a little bit more lenient, and I'd go to like some parties and I had to like come back home at like 12 o'clock, but at least that was some progress. But the reason why I tell you that story is because you can probably relate to parents really wanting you to stay safe. And if it's not for parents, it might be your teachers, it might be your friends. And all of this leads to a big problem, which is a young man not taking risks. You have to understand that if you want rewards, if you want results, if you want progress, there needs to be some kind of risk/sacrifice involved. Because think about it, if you want to make gains in the gym, you want to get like, if you want to make some gains in the gym, you want to make some muscle, you need to sacrifice some things. What do you need to sacrifice? Well, some time to go to the gym and to train and to cook nutritious food. Then you also need to eat the nutritious food, and maybe that can be more expensive. You have to sacrifice junk food. You have to sacrifice the ability to stay comfortable. So there's somewhat of a risk, and that's not even the risk of like gym injuries. There's always a sacrifice, like a payment that has to be paid for you to grow. Understand this and keep this phrase in your mind. Sacrifice must must be progressively overloaded. It's hot in here, isn't it, bro? You can turn this air conditioning on. You say I'm not the only. Am I dark as fuck on this right now? So you're watching this, you're a young man. Please believe me, now is the time to take some risks. I have never been a risk taker in my life. In all of my adult life, I had never been a risk taker. I can tell you the first time that I took a risk, and I literally debated it for a while. I was working a full-time job in a different city called Manchester in the UK. Comfortable job, literally on track to like get a promotion and get like an increased wage. Working at like a decent company, decent office space. There's a gym in the office space, and you know, I could get better and better here. I'm working hard, I'm getting seen by the managers. I was really like doing well here, and I literally had this risk in front of me that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to make online income. I had just been to Thailand, so this was in 2019. I traveled to Thailand just for a month with my girlfriend at the time who I lived with, and I really loved it here. And that's when the idea of like making online income and becoming a digital nomad came about in my mind. And so I had this risk that I could take. So imagine you've got your first job after university, you've got like a full-time job, everyone around you saying, oh, you know, that's you know, good for you. It's not like a great job or anything, but you know, it's your first job, and that's so, you know, you're making us all proud. And you know, if you work hard, then you can get a promotion. You know, I'm set up, I've got a comfortable life, I've got the kind of life that younger Hamza wanted, I've got the kind of life that a lot of people wanted. I was just about gonna make enough money to like get a car, live in the city, live with my girlfriend. We both have gaming computers. We're literally like, I've literally got a gamer girlfriend. I'm living in the middle of the city by myself, not with my parents. I go to the, you know what I mean? I had a comfortable life, man. And then I had this decision that if I want to go down the entrepreneurship route, I need to free up some time, because I really wanted to do this stuff. This was when I first ever, if you scroll all the way down this YouTube channel, or if you like, you know, do the settings where it says like, I'll sort from oldest to newest, the first videos that I've posted, I lived in this apartment when I was working this job. So I was stacking like YouTube on top of the job, and it was very difficult. One, my mental health wasn't great, so I was going to the job, I wasn't happy, I was very like anxious and depressed and like quite stressed. And so when I was away from like the job, I wanted to like smoke weed all the time. I wanted to just like eat shit food and just kind of chill and not really work and be productive. But there was some times, as you can see if you go through like the older videos on this channel, that I did make some videos, and it was very, very hard to balance a full-time job, commuting to that full-time job, training in the gym, and also doing any kind of entrepreneurship venture. So I literally knew to myself, okay, if I'm gonna continue something like YouTube, if I'm gonna continue making money online, or you know, start to make money online, I need to reduce my hours. I need to go part-time. And I weighed up this decision for a while, because again, everything was comfortable, everything was fine. And then I spoke to the manager there, told them like I wanted to go part-time, and they're kind of being like wishy-washy with it, because it's, you know, it's like a full-on, you know how like companies, like especially big companies, you have to go through like systems and shit. It's like, oh, we've got to ask HR for this, you know, this bullshit, bro. So they fucked around for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I literally remember every day felt like it was hard for me. Imagine like every single day felt like, you know, I was near the edge of like my capacity. I wanted to break down. I wanted to just get the fuck away. I wasn't really enjoying the job anymore. Then eventually they come to me and they take it proper serious. Like they've got a guy on a laptop like writing notes of like our meeting, saying like, oh, we're sorry, we can't give you the part-time position. So I literally just say, oh yeah, well, it's no worries. Like I'll apply for like a part-time job. You know, it's been awesome to be here and stuff, and they understand that. And so I apply for a part-time job, and I literally get it the next day. So the next day after that meeting, I go to an interview for a part-time job. I get it overnight, and I literally go into the meeting and I get the job there and then, which is a fucking stunt. So I come back in after like lunchtime on that same day and say like, oh, I got a part-time job already. Everyone's like, what the fuck? Like how quickly did you get that? But so I leave within like 2 weeks, and I've now reduced my work hours significantly, and I've got so much more free time and mental load to put into entrepreneurship. What you see in front of you right now, sometimes like I really need this reminder, maybe you do. You know, YouTube's like a weird thing. Like I'm a real person. My name is Hamza. I'm like literally like a real person. I'm 24. I'm 25 in like 1.5 weeks on June 10th. You see like a real person in front of you with the real story. There's nothing sugarcoated there. I took that risk about it's been a fucking while, but 2.5 years ago. I am now back in Thailand in the digital nomad dream that I started with. That was the first experience that I had with like taking risks in terms of like money and business. Since I've made this YouTube channel, I've really started this movement, and the business side of things has really popped off. I've made way more risks. Some of them succeeded and got us a great level of success and wealth, and some of them failed. But when you have the right mindset, success and failure are both positive things. Both lead to growth. I'll tell you one of my failures and you will fully know what I'm talking about because you've been watching the channel. About 2 months ago, I made the decision to up the editing of these videos. I thought that that would make the channel pop off more and, you know, everything would go better and better. Like the retention rate will go through the roof and the videos will perform really well. Then we'll get more subscribers. Then I'll I'll be really good at YouTube. And so I hired 3 more editors. I already had 5 video editors. I think I'm the singular YouTuber. You know, obviously there's like companies and big groups that have YouTube channels, but in terms of being like a normal one person, I think I'm the guy who has the most video editors on YouTube. I have 8 of them now, and I have one for my Instagram Reels as well. But I hired 3 new video editors, and I paid them about £600 per video on average, £600 to £800 per video, with a bunch of bonuses.
Stop the cap.
Before that decision, I was paying about £8,000 a month for video editing. Picture that. I'm 24 years old. I pay £8,000 a month for video editing. This was like 2 months ago. When I made that decision to hire 3 more video editors and then tell them, okay, instead of making 2 videos each a week, you make 1 video. And so every video is like a week's worth of work. And we upload daily videos on this channel. Suddenly, the editor expense, how much I was spending, went up from about 8,000 to about 22,000. In the last month, I've spent about £22,000 on video editing, and it didn't succeed. The videos didn't pop off, they didn't perform well. If anything, a lot of people complained that the videos were too hyper editing, that there was too much stimulation, it was pointless, it was distracting. We lost sight of our purpose. I've apologized for that, and it was in hindsight, I should have known, why the fuck are we adding more dopamine to the videos where I tell you, oh yeah, dopamine detoxing saved me. So obviously it was a stupid mistake, but I took that risk and it didn't succeed. But now here I am with more success than ever, with faster growth than ever. And I learned from that mistake. I took that risk and so much growth came from it. When you take risks, only positives arise as long as you meet a couple of conditions. The first condition is just don't be stupid. Don't take any risk that seems too good to be true. Oh, fuck, this altcoin is gonna a 700x, bro. Fuck those guys on YouTube, bro. If you've ever watched entrepreneurship videos, there was this one guy I really liked named Alex Becker. His videos literally changed my life, and now all the videos he does, you can search up his YouTube name, all the videos he does now is literally this scam bullshit of these crypto coins will 7x in the next 24 hours, go and buy now. Fuck you, go and fuck yourself, you little prick. You do realize what he's doing? He buys because people used to do this on RuneScape, so I know exactly what the fuck is. I used to do that on RuneScape, right? So on RuneScape, you would buy an item like red spider's eggs, you'd buy them at 200 GP, go into a clan that you owned, get loads of people and tell them, oh, but everyone buy red spider's eggs, buy 10,000 each, bro, everyone buy them. And then you tell them, okay, at 600 we're all gonna sell, so we're all gonna make profit. And then when they go to 400, you sell your original lot. That's what these YouTubers who tell you oh, this 7 altcoins will, but shut the fuck up, bro, shut the fuck up. Is a stupid fuck. So that's a stupid risk to take. It's too good to be true. And the second condition of risks is also make sure that you have control over them. So take risks, but make sure that you can influence the outcome of that decision. Again, doing something like crypto, I don't think it's good risks. I think personally in crypto, put it into Bitcoin and Ethereum and then shut the fuck up. I think it's as simple as that, if you wanted to know my crypto mindset. When you're taking a risk, you want control over the thing that you choose. So for me, with my video editing, there was a level of control. It didn't work out, but at least we had autonomy over that choice. At least we had the ability to make it succeed. For me, with my risk of leaving my comfortable full-time job, switching over to part-time, and eventually literally switching over to a 0-hour contract. I've mentioned this in a bunch of my videos, so if you're interested in my sort of pathway. The first ever full-time job I worked was a customer service. I worked in the complaints department in a car finance company. Straight after that, I got the part-time job. I got in the interview, which was kind of awkward because it was for a receptionist position. And the woman was a little bit she wanted references and stuff before she hired me and stuff, but she just kind of did it fast. And then I left that job 4 days later. What's the word? I kind of didn't put her in such a good place, but the job was not good for me, and I really just made that decision fast. So the part-time job I told you at the start of this video was literally this one. I left in 4 days. And then I got a 0-hour contract working in a homeless accommodation shelter, a temporary accommodation shelter, working night shifts. And I was just working on the desk, safe, relatively safe. You just kind of I see them in the CCTV, they want to come into the house, so I just press the buzzer thing that automatically unlocks the door. And that was a 0-hour shift, and I was working 3 nights per week. Working night shifts kind of dead, but I was able to bring my laptop there and just do like work. So I took that second risk as well. I left my first full-time job for that part-time job, but then I also left that part-time job for the 0-hour contract. I took risks. I am here today because I took those risks. I would not be here if I stayed in that full-time job, especially if the full-time job was a little bit better. Because if it was a little bit better, if I was getting paid a little bit more, I would have stayed. Safety, security, and comfort are not good things for men. We think we want them. We think we do. We don't. They don't cause growth. Your teenage years, your 20s should be solely dedicated to your growth, and you grow incredibly when you take risks. In Adonis's tribe, we take risks alongside brotherhood because we understand that that causes growth and progress to our goals. So ask yourself right now, okay, what could you take a risk in? Because right now, maybe you don't have like a certain clear goal, a certain business that you can take a risk on, careers or something. So it's like, okay, well, you know, this sounds really motivational, Hamza, but like, what the fuck am I supposed to take a risk on? And that right there shows us the comfortable life that you're living. That not only are you not taking risks, you're not even in the position to take any because nothing you do has the option to take a risk. Let that sink in. It's not even that you're not taking risks, which is bad enough. You're literally living such a comfortable life that the option to take risks isn't even there. That's something that you should feel like a little bit ashamed of. Because just a few years ago, let's say 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would have been in the same position. There was no risk that I could have taken. You need to build yourself up as a man and then have these moments where you can make important decisions. And this comes from those beautiful things like making a business, pursuing a good career. Maybe it's even like speaking to that girl and seeing where things go. Taking risks and just seeing how it goes and obviously, you know, putting in the work for it. That's your life's experience. Why would you want to miss out on that? I took a risk coming here back in Thailand. I was here in 2019. I'm here again in 2022 in May. And it was a risk. Obviously, it was the same as always, you know, traveling, going all the way across the world. It was a risk because my business is online, but being halfway across the world in like different time zones, in different, you know, settings, I had to learn like how to start recording without like the green screen behind me, without my bathrobe. It was a risk. But obviously it was more of a comfortable risk because the channel's already doing well, the movement's already doing well. I'm already a great leader. My friend Sam, he had taken a plane once before this. About 2 weeks before we came to Thailand, me and him went to Amsterdam. We met a couple of the video editors. We like celebrated our success. I rented out a penthouse for all of us. It was a very, very good time. And for him, that was the first time he had taken a plane. He didn't have he's literally, Sam was like, he started as a Jeffrey, deadass. He started as a Jeffrey, which is very iconic because it's kind of like I met a guy who literally symbolizes like Jeffrey and the growth that he's in fucking Thailand. He's in Muay Thai by himself right now. He rode his motorbike there. And this is a guy who literally, I promise you this is not an exaggeration, he literally did not leave his house for 2 years straight. He used to stream on Twitch. Like, you know how we talk about like Jeffries and, you know, guys who play video games? This was like another level that you may not even be able to relate to. This guy literally stayed online live streaming about 12 to 16 hours a day. He dropped out of like what would be high school for you. In the UK, we call it college, which is like age 16. He dropped out and he literally just like fucking streamed video games like a Jeffrey. And that's no disrespect to him because we speak openly about this because he's grown so much. He lifts weights, he's getting aesthetic, he's in Muay Thai right now. He's fallen off his motorbike, he's finally got some like cuts and bruises. And that's fucking interesting. I was gonna make a separate video for this titled like Men or Boys Need Boo-Boos. Sam fell off his bike and he's got like cuts down his arm, his ankles and everything. And he literally said, oh, this is like the first injury that he's had for as long as he can remember. And I just saw like a flash of like how important that is for young men. Him going on the motorbike was a risk. And of course, you know, absolutely be safe, wear a helmet and stuff, that's what we're doing. But like, he just kind of like didn't know how to control it when we first went off. So obviously you don't want to take stupid risks that you can die, but like, we weren't going that fast or anything. There's a little bit of a cope. He took that risk coming here, traveling halfway across the world, and it could have ended really badly. In fact, the first day we came here, he was in like a really bad mood. You know, he was just kind of like tense and uncomfortable and everything. He wasn't feeling it. He was just thinking very, very like negatively. He was even like being a little bit like hostile towards me and Nabil. And now he's loving it. He's gotten more growth in the last week than he may have like 2 months back home. So ask yourself right now, what can you take some risks with? And if you don't have anything that you can very clearly take a risk, I mean, you know, this is your sign. If there is like a risk, a decision that there is to be made, maybe consider it. But if you don't have anything at all to take that risk on, then this is that sign to think like, okay, I need to start living more of like, it sounds weird to say, but like more of a dangerous life. You need to have some things in your life which like you can take risks in. Otherwise, like what is there to enjoy? You should absolutely be taking big risks, especially when you're a young man. You can subscribe to our movement if you want to. Welcome to the cult. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.